Why self-diagnosis is on the rise and so dangerous. Hi everyone, welcome to Signpost for Living with Dr. Kirsten Hunter. We are here with gorgeous Kristen Coggan. Hello, gorgeous.
Kirsten and Kristen.
Kirsten and Kristen, yes, we're almost twins.
Almost.
There you go. So we're talking about
Yes.
self-diagnosis, which is obviously people jumping online
Yep.
and Dr. Googling. Is that what you... actually, I only have just recently discovered that there's a lot of self-diagnosis via TikTok.
Oh, God, yes.
You know this.
And I'm not I do have a TikTok account.
There you go.
But I don't look at it because it's just... Well, social media is part of my job and I do enough of it during the day. I don't need to do it after hours, and TikTok's not on my radar for work. So, and I think it's for the young ones, isn't it? I'm a little bit old for TikTok. I don't know. But yes, they do, and they get fads, and they can... Someone can put something stupid up there and it goes viral and people believe it.
So, someone said to me, so if you're Virgo and you're left-handed, it means that you're likely to be diagnosed with this. It was like...
What?
No, but apparently there's wacky stuff out there as well that actually trends and,
And because our phones are listening to us...
Oh, gosh.
Things that you've talked about will come up in your feeds. So it feeds you. So if you've got an issue, like if you think that there's something wrong with you and you tell your friend, I think I've got, smallpox will start coming up in your feeds.
That's even worse.
And you'll get bombarded with it.
There you go. Wow, I hadn't thought of that as well. So, there we are. We've got a few various symptoms and we think to ourselves, I wonder what's going on for me. Will I go to the doctor or will I jump on Dr. Google? And what do you think people do with that?
I think it's very tempting to get on Dr. Google. And I personally don't do it because I think it's dangerous.
Why is it dangerous?
Because you don't know what your reading's right or wrong.
Yeah.
You could...
Well, you're not a doctor.
That's right.
That could be a clue.
That could be a clue. But even... I think there's, the cost of going to the doctor now is expensive. It's hard to get into the doctor.
There's a delay. Yeah.
So if you're really worried, the temptation is there to Google it.
Yeah.
If it's my cat's health, I Google it though. Because if we get that wrong, it's probably not.
I would never have thought of that. There you go. Right. Yeah. So I think it's really dangerous because people, go and do a lot of training to become medical professionals.
Yes.
And when someone presents, they are able to look through all the things that are not the case. They're able to run tests, heaven forbid, and actually get, medical symptoms correct and figure things out correctly. And, with self-diagnosis, we then go through this whole pathway of, oh my gosh, I think I've got this, and we go down all these rabbit holes and we freak out completely. And then you go to the doctor and find out something else. Don't get me wrong, you might get it right sometimes. But
and if you use it wisely, again, I'm turning this podcast into the story of Kristen, but recently my son had to have some surgery.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand the surgery, and it was on his eye, but I knew the term of what the surgery was called, what the procedure was called.
Yeah.
So I Googled it.
Yeah.
And found Australian websites that had it. So there was it was listed on a Australian Gov medical website. So I thought, that's that'd have to be getting close to the truth.
Yeah.
And then I found an eye specialist in Brisbane who actually really described it on his webpage, and he had updated it in February 2023, so I knew it was fairly recent. So I trusted that. So I had a look at that, so I had a bit of an idea.
A good experience.
Yeah.
But that wasn't informed.
But you've got to be smart about it. You can't just put your symptoms in the search engine and hit enter.
Wasn't that after you had the diagnosis? And
yes,
after you knew the treatment?
It was.
So that's you researching something that's already diagnosed.
Correct. And that's what I guess I've missed that part when I was trying to explain it to you. If you have enough information, Googling these things can be fantastic.
Yeah.
But it's not a doctor.
Yeah. Once there's the diagnosis established, then you can learn about it.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really interested that I have a lot of clients come in and they self-diagnose, So they come in and they say, I've got an eating disorder. And the truth is they don't. They might have body dysmorphia issues, but a large portion of the population does, which means that, you think that your body is really overweight when it's actually not, type thing. Or they might restrict every now and then, or they might go on a bit of a exercise craze for a couple of weeks. That's not an eating disorder. A lot of kids will come in and say, I have borderline personality disorder, and they don't. And, that's because they're feeling a bit lost, and they've gone and read about it, and they can relate to some of it. So, it happens all the time. And I spend a lot of time educating people about the broader, bigger picture and why that's not the case. And, I think that some people are trying to find language to explain how they feel. Some people enjoy the drama of the diagnosis. That's quite common. And, some supposed diagnoses can run through schools. I've got that too. Or, people that say, I've got depression, and they don't have depression at all. But they just think it's a bit attention-seeking, to be honest.
And there's different organisations out there that, whether they're scammers or they're fake herbal potions or whatever it is, but they know that they feed on that fear.
Yeah.
So they fill people's internet screens with stuff that plays on the fears. Yeah. And people buy into it.
They do. I used to tutor on in a subject called abnormal psychology at uni. Anyway, and at the beginning of every week, when we would cover various clinical diagnoses, we'd always have to preface it by saying, okay, when you walk out of this today, you're going to think you have the diagnosis. Just, you don't, in all probability. But, we're going to go through all these criteria, and people can relate to them in some way, And we all are very self-focused. We all think about ourselves. That's fine. That's adaptive. And, so we can look at these and go, oh, my gosh, that's me. I've got that. Oh, my gosh, that's me. I've got that. And so we are very predisposed to see ourselves in diagnoses. And the beauty of a professional is that they're able to look at it more objectively, obviously. Buckets of skill and experience.
And understand the criteria that needs to be met for the diagnosis.
Correct. Keep it in context. Yeah, absolutely. And, it's a concern as well if people find having a diagnosis to be a good thing. It's not a good thing. Those people that, some teenagers, some young adults, they actually find it exciting. I do not get that at all. Yeah, I was talking to one young fellow, and he has bipolar, and he gets really upset because when he goes to parties and, or with friends, actually, quite intimate conversations, and they go, oh, yes, I've got bipolar too.
Yep.
Deeply offensive for somebody who genuinely is struggling and doesn't want to have it, So, so I think we all just need to appreciate our health and appreciate people who know what they're talking about. And
don't wish something upon yourself.
No.
No,
there's nothing.
And I think
fun.
too, everyone thinks, it gets said all the time in the media. The danger of the internet too is we all think we're an expert on everything. You know what I mean? Like you can become an instant expert on anything very quickly, and it's not quite the case.
Oh, what about narcissism? My gosh, it seems like every time there's a relationship breakup, he or she is a narcissist.
Yes. Now, why is that?
Well, because they're upset at the person and they're feeling that person is, I don't know, they've had conflict.
Why is the word narcissism, like it just gets bandied around like you're saying, every second person's...
I'm exaggerating, but yeah. No, can I just say, like, narcissistic personality disorder, very legitimate, very real, causes a lot of harm. And I think there's an increased education about narcissistic personality disorder, and then I think with that education, people have taken it and not understood what they're talking about, and then taken the concept that it's a mean person, and
which is not
it's
right.
not. They're not a mean person. It's much more complex than that, which might be another podcast.
Yeah, let's do that. We've done a narcissistic podcast, I'm sure.
We have. So, yeah, no, narcissistic PD is completely different to someone who's just against you and having a bad day and not being very mindful of you. Completely different. But I think it's a throwaway criticism. Yeah. And it annoys me. So I spend a lot of time educating people about what the language means without offending them. That's fun.
Oh, well done you.
No, I try. No, I actually quite enjoy it, to be honest. I feel like one of those cranky old people. Let me explain that.
You know.
Yeah. Anyway, so
yes.
And maybe the answer is, wouldn't it be great? I mean, it's really hard to see a psychologist.
Oh, and it's expensive, and it's long waiting lists, and it's tempting, isn't it?
It's very tempting. So that's the other issue. Hey, if you can't go and see a professional, of course you're going to want to go and do a bit of self-learning.
And especially if it's your child that you're really worried about or something, you know, like it's...
So it's understandable.
Yeah, it is understandable. But you just got to be very wary of it.
Yeah, and don't wish for any of it.
Exactly.
Yeah, there you go. So self-diagnose with care and caution.
Yeah, Dr. Google's not in the room with you having a chat.
No. I think if you're going to... I think pick up a book. That shows commitment to learning about something.
True. And get your information from different sources. Try and get them from several different credible sources.
Reputable, yeah. So the medical association from the country you live in.
And if your Google diagnosis is also trying to sell you something at the same time, it's probably wrong.
It's a no.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, darling.
No problems.
I really appreciate that chat. I think
that was
very
important. It flew.
It did.
Time flies when you're having fun. Okay, Kirsten's webpage, KirstenHunterAuthor.com. Her Facebook and Instagram handles are Kirsten Hunter Author. Twitter, she is Kirsten Hunter AU. Her YouTube channel is Psych in Your Car, and this is Signposts for Living with Dr. Kirsten Hunter.
Thank you, sweetie.
And you're on TikTok too now, you told me.
I know. Dr. Kirsten Hunter, is that?
On TikTok,
name?
see,
Yeah.
I think it's for the young ones.
Actually, it's not self-diagnosis, it's real information.
There you go.
There you
TikTokers.
go. There you go. See you, done.
See you, bye.